Hey guys, this is Josh from Coheed and Cambria, and you're watching MayTheRockBeWithYou.com.
Well, welcome to Australia and welcome to May the Rock Be With You, Josh.
Yeah, good to be here.
Pleasure. So tonight's the first show of the tour. Have you got an idea of how you're going to shape the set yet?
Yeah, we're going to do pretty much the same set in America. Now, we were switching sets in America. We kind of have the same home base set, and then, a couple kind of songs intertwined there. A lot of people in America come to a lot of the shows. In fact, we had one guy who came to every show on the whole tour. And that wasn't something that we previously did, switching up the set. But I think we're going to do what we call Set A from the American tour, with a couple minor changes. But yeah, it's taking shape. We ran the whole thing today. We already did the whole show today. Okay. Hence why I have that giant blister on my finger.
Oh,
and yeah, man. A byproduct of playing the drums. Again, a small price to pay. But yeah, we're ready to go. The set's rounded into shape and we're ready to rock.
All right, cool. Can we expect to hear to Mars?
Yep, you sure can.
All right, that's my favorite.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, favorite song of the year last year, actually. It's
oh,
amazing.
Cool, man. Oh, that's awesome. We were thinking to ourselves, we were like, we don't come to Australia that much. Are we relying too heavily on the new record? Because you want to give, since we only come over once every couple of years, we want to do a lot of everything. So I feel like the couple changes that we did make, and we're talking one or two songs from the American set, we put in some older songs. So hopefully people feel like it's a well-rounded set, and hopefully people enjoy it and rock the fuck out.
Excellent. And you've been here a number of times. What's your favorite thing, or do you have a great memory of a past tour here?
Every memory. I mean, we really love it here. I think I can only speak for our band, but sometimes going to Europe can be, it's beautiful and it's amazing, but it can be kind of tough. For our band, it's strange. I think a lot of people in America just assume that we broke in Europe. Oh, they're huge in Europe, but we never. Some places in Europe can be tough. I mean, Germany's great. We've only played Spain once or twice, and France we've been to a few times, but sometimes it can be rough. When we came over here, especially last time, the shows were so phenomenal, and just to feel that energy and that amount of passion when you're halfway around, probably more than halfway around the world, it's just a really surreal, tremendous, thrilling feeling, man. And we couldn't wait to come back. I'm surprised it took this long to come back. That was 2013, I think. And hopefully, it won't be 2020 before we're here again, because we love it here.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever been a tourist here? Have you had a chance to do things? Is there something you really want to do in Australia you haven't had a chance to do yet?
Even though I've only been here, I think 4 times, I've gotten to do a bunch of stuff. I mean, in my living room at home right now, my wife and my stepdaughter love the picture. We did the touristy hold the koala thing, but I always wanted to do that, man, and it was awesome. And that picture's hanging in my living room right now. So we did that. I went and saw Bon Scott's grave once. And there were these parrots in the trees, and we were just like, oh my God, they look like parrots just flying. It was so amazing. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff, but I've done some touristy things. I think what I really enjoy now is kind of just going for a walk and just kind of soaking up what kind of the culture that I can, the people. I like to kind of people watch, go find a cafe and chill out. To me, you really get a vibe and you get a sense of this place when you do those things, not necessarily the tourist things, because I feel like I've done most of them. There's not one major touristy thing that I want to do. I just want to come here and hang out. I'm going to come back here with my wife. It's one of her dreams to come here. In fact, every American girl I ever dated or I was ever with, but every one of them, they all have this in common. They all say, oh, I got to go to Australia. But none of them ever do. Because the flight's so long and they're expensive. But me and my wife are maybe this summer, actually. Maybe in a couple months, our summer, maybe gonna come over here, for a week or two and get to hang out. It's quite expensive here for us Americans too, which is another reason it's tough. But I love it. Something about this place is always connected with me, and it's not, the weather. Although maybe that's something just about the smell of the air here. It energizes me. I don't want to sound corny, but it energizes my soul. I'm not kidding. Something about this land speaks to me. Maybe in another life I lived here or something, but
maybe.
I really love it here, and I'm just excited to be back. But when I talk about walking around and just checking things out, whether you're in a city or a town, wherever you are, that's kind of how I get a sense of where I am, and hopefully I'm able to kind of soak up, a piece of where I am.
Excellent, love it. Now, I want to talk music. So The Colour Before the Sun's been out for about 7 months. How's the cycle been so far?
It's been great. The record, every Coheed record in my eyes is a bit of a curveball. And this one was no different, even beyond, just musically speaking, even beyond the fact that there's no story and it doesn't follow the Amory Wars. You know, it's a bit, I just give our fan base a lot of, I don't want to say credit, but they're always willing to take the journey with us. And you can't, what can you say? I mean, I can't name another fan base that would do that. You know, here we are, 8 records in, and like a lot of really different records, you know. They're always willing to kind of go for the ride with us. And I think when it first came out, I was a little bit worried. Was it too leading on the pop side? Too much? Or, you know, but I'm a worrier. You know, if we made a super heavy record, I'd say, did we lean on the heavy side too much? So I'm just a neurotic worrier. Thanks, Mom. It's like my mom. But no, it's been tremendous. I can't say enough. I feel really beyond good about the way the record was received, about the way the stuff is sounding live, and about how much fun it is to play these songs live. We cut the record basically live, and I think that was, you know, a bold move. I don't know if a lot of bands can, especially in this day and age where, you know, you could like kick the drums over and spit on them and they'll turn that into a drum track. You know, we cut this whole record live, very little edits. I mean, we literally would come in at 9 a.m., drums, bass, guitars, everybody's guitars by noon, vocals by 2, 3 in the afternoon, and then we're hanging out, we're back at the hotel by dinner. We just, you know, I think I always say our record is more of a live record than some bands' live record. But we wanted to try to capture, you know, the 4 of us in a room together, as opposed to the traditional, at least for Coheed, the traditional way of making a record, which is to, you know, spend a big chunk of time. And we did The Color Before the Sun in a couple weeks. And without like tooting our own horn too much, I think it was a really kind of brave and bold move for the band. So I'm exceptionally proud of the record. Thrilled with the way it's been received and all that stuff.
Were you in any way worried the obvious move away from the Amory Wars, just for this temporarily? Were you worried that your fans might not have accepted it?
Yeah, oh, big time, dude. Yes, of course. I mean, I'm always worried. I think everybody in Coheed has such a profound respect for the people that care enough about the art that we make, that we get to make a living doing this. I'm always worried. I always want them to like it, but I think we would be selling them short if we made a record that tried to cater to any one group of people. You have to make these records for you, and I'd like to think in a perfect world that kind of translates, you know, through you into the art, onto that CD or onto that MP3, and that's something that resonates with the fans of Coheed and Cambria. I don't know if that's true. I think that is probably true. But yeah, I'm always worried nonetheless. You know, before a record comes out, even though we've done, you know, I've done other records and we've done 8 records. Is it 8 records? 6 with me, you know, I missed 2 records. But it's not something I've done 600 times, you know. They're all very unique unto themselves, and they all kind of carry their own unique energy. But consistently, you know, I'm always worried. I'm always hopeful that people will like it. I'm hoping that it speaks to people. Yeah. I think when you say, oh, I hope people like it, it cheapens it in a way. I'm not sitting there saying, I hope we have the commercial success that we're after and push the units that the label wants us to. No, I'm hoping that the art connects with people and they feel a powerful connection to it like I do. That's what I mean when I say that. I don't want to water that down, because I think that's a really powerful thing.
That's right. You talk about art, and the other side of Coheed is the visual aspect.
Sure.
One of my best friends is covered in Coheed tattoos. You know, I mean, there's that sort of stuff. Your fan base is so fanatical that they're willing to, you know, drape themselves in your imagery. What do you think it is about the imagery of the band that people really attach to?
You know, that it's cool. I think early on, you know, we worked with some extremely talented people that helped. You know, like the key work came from an idea that Claudio had, but a guy by the name of Bill Scoville helped put it together, and the Dragonfly. So here we are at this little punk label, and this guy, Bill Scoville, you know, how many bands have like these symbols that are synonymous with their band for their first 2 records? Different symbols, you know, so Bill deserves a lot of credit for that. I just think that it was cool stuff, and you know, I think through the connection to the music, the symbols become even, you know, more powerful for people that the music speaks to, and it's just, you know, God, it's like embarrassingly flattering, you know, it's amazing.
Cool. Now, obviously, I've spoken to Claudio before. He said the Amory Wars are far from over. Mm-hmm. Is there a talk of when they may come back?
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, well, you didn't know. All right, so
no, I know.
Yeah. Any talk of when they may come back? Is this for the next record? Do we know what's happening yet?
You know, I can really only speak like for what I hope, you know, and obviously, you know, we're a band that you talk to us Monday, it's one thing. Tuesday, it's another thing. Wednesday, it's, you know, we're always I think we're all creative. We're all always creating. So therefore, the ideas are always kind of evolving and changing, and that can be frustrating at times. But for me personally, for Josh Eppard, I hope that the Amory Wars will. I think we're in a really kind of great position to come back to the Amory Wars, almost like in a similar way to what were we going to do after Black Rainbow. You know, I wasn't there for that record. I came back after that record, and I was so curious. Well, where do we go from here? Is there no story? Is it over? And I thought Claude and Chandra have had a really interesting, more than interesting. I just was thrilled with the way that they tied in the serious Amory thing, kind of the beginnings of the key work and all that. And I think there's another opportunity here to do something like that and take the story in a different direction. And I hope it's on the next record. But that's just me. You know, that's. Me speculating at best. There's definitely not any like solid word of that, but I think I'd be surprised if we didn't on the next record kind of re-engage the Amory Wars.
I absolutely love the Afterman albums. Those two,
Me too.
I thought, they're so good.
I know, man. I feel like, you know, okay, I came back to the band. We're back at our Uncle Mike's studio. We call him Uncle Burmy, the guy that did our first 3 records. And you know, when I wasn't in the band, and even though Mike came back, they went and did a record with Nick, and then they did a record with Joe. And I think going back to Applehead had a lot to do with it. I think it re-engaged the fan base. I felt that classic Coheed DNA in there, and those records are really special to me. Those might be 2 of my favorite Coheed records, you know, and I think that's, I don't know many other bands that like their 6th and 7th records get kind of mentioned up there with the top ones, and I'm just insanely proud of the Afterman records, and I love them. But I still think that Coheed's best work is ahead of us.
Excellent, I love that. Well, let's go back to 2002. So debut album's out. What are some of your memories of, you know, basically releasing that and giving Coheed and Cambria to the world?
God, so many. How long do we have? No, I'm just kidding. God, I don't know, man. I remember, like, you know, not when I met Claude and Trev, because I'd already known them for years, but when I joined the band with them, I was in this other band, and our bands would play together, and that's how we knew each other. It was, you know, community of kids that were playing music. I didn't know anything about punk rock, you know. I didn't know that there were like VFWs or like, you know, White Eagle halls where kids would rent them out and have punk shows that 500 kids were showing up to. I came from a more kind of major label world, and that's just how I was born and bred. You know, my parents had raised me like that. I was in a band that my dad was the manager of, and we signed to Universal when I was like 16 years old and got dropped. I'd kind of been put through the ringer of that major label machine, but Claudio and Travis really taught me about, I don't want to say punk rock because that kind of conjures up one specific thing, but you know, whatever they were calling it at the time. Bands like Thursday, At the Drive-In, the Get Up Kids, you know, even bands like Jimmy Eat World before they really broke and became, you know, massively successful. And it just changed my life. And I always kind of equate Second Stage to that time in my life, because that to me is like the most kind of raw and in a lot of ways, you know, very honest, not a whole lot of bells and whistles on that record. In fact, when we were doing that record, we were just recording demos. We had these 2 songs, and I'm working at a job in New York, and I get this call to go out on this tour. And I'm like, I'm in the band with Claude and Travis, and I think we're Shabuti or we're called Leader One. We were called Leader One for like a couple months, playing bars on the weekend, just whatever. And so I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go out on this tour, but I'm gonna go on this tour to like hand out our CDs. I'm home burning CDRs. We had like these 2 songs. Well, the singer of that band actually got us a record deal with Equal, or he was the guy that showed it to Equal Vision. And Equal Vision was like, hey, these 2 songs are great. Record 2 more. So we go into like this kid's bedroom studio, really talented kid, but it was a bedroom in New Jersey. We recorded, I think it was Time Consumer and Everything Evil. We go back to Equal Vision, they're like, we like these 2 songs, record 2 more. They're not giving us money to record these songs. They're just like, so we were under the impression that we're just making demos and maybe gonna get a record deal and then we'll make a record, you know? We do this a few times, 5 times basically, or 4 times, and they have 10 songs. They're like, all right, it's great, let's put it out. We're like, wait, but these were the demos. There's like mistakes on there. Mistakes I wouldn't change now for the world, because they're part of the character, you know? We talked about that when we were making The Color Before the Sun. Letting mistakes be in there. Stop making everything so perfect. Not everything has to be perfect, you know? Certainly from a drum perspective, now there's this thing, you know, they call it beat detector. Well, it's been around for years, but it'll suck the life right out of a drummer. If you've got a good drummer, he doesn't need beat detective. You don't need to go in there and have a computer tell you everything that's right. Led Zeppelin, if it was nowadays, that's all wrong according to a computer. Miles Davis is wrong. It's about what feels good. I'll go off on a whole tangent. Anyway, Second Stage brings up a lot of those. Those are some early memories, but you know, in a more kind of specific answer, I just think about small clubs, touring for the first time, learning how to tour, which I think, you know, in a way we still are. I mean, obviously this is our life, but it took years to learn how to do this and learn how to enjoy it, because it was tough. A lot of tough times too. You know, we had no money, sleeping in a van in parking lots. You know, you find a spot and oh shit, the air conditioner's broke. It's 100 degrees outside. Man, this sucks. But I now, you know, it's funny. It's probably like some of the worst moments of my life, but I look back on them now as like some of the best. You know.
And now you're on the other side of the world.
Yeah, you know. That's also like we started going over to Europe. I feel like pretty quick. You know, they had us going over there, and I remember, you know, there's always a piece of me that's like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm in Australia. I can't believe I'm in Europe. Even though I've been here 3 or 4, which isn't a lot of times. I think 4 times. I think this is my 4th time, so not a ton of times. But yeah, I'm about, you know, we're the luckiest sons of bitches on the planet, you know, so it's kind of hard to complain about this job. Tonight when I'm super tired up there, I remember that, how lucky we are that we get to do this. And yeah, we're sitting in Australia and I'm talking to you about rock music.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. So what does the rest of the year have in store for you guys?
Well, we're going to finish out. I mean, it's been a pretty busy year with the release of the record. And, you know, we did Europe, we did a full US tour, we did some other US dates, but there's some stuff coming up. We finished this, obviously, and then we head back. We do a couple festivals. We're going to take a chunk of the summer off, but off from Coheed means, you know, I'm busy with Weird Science. Claudio doesn't know how to take off. Somebody should lock him in a room and force him to relax, but I don't think he knows how. He'd probably like have a whole record constructed in his head. And Travis's Davenport Cabinet and Fire Deuce. Just everybody has projects and is always creating, but I think we're going to take a little bit of time off from Coheed, and I mean like a month or something. Maybe be doing, you know, there's some other things Coheed related going on that I'm not sure what's going to happen, so I don't really want to talk about it. But then I don't know if it's released yet, the info, but I know in August and September we're going to be out doing some things on the West Coast. There's some European festivals and stuff that we're going to go hit. So still busy, but I think, you know, we're looking forward to having some time in the summer with our families and stuff.
Okay, cool. And lastly, I asked Claudio and I asked everybody. He said to play Madison Square Garden was his answer, but the question is, finish this sentence for me. The one thing that Coheed and Cambria want to do in 2016 is?
Well, in 2016, my ultimate, I mean, it would be true for any year, and we've never done it, is to play Saturday Night Live. I remember as a kid just being like so, you know, before the internet, I'm like super dating myself. I'm 36 years old. I'm proud to be 36.
I'm 40.
Yeah, well, we're old farts. You know, you're only as old as you feel. Right now, I do feel pretty old and tired. But Saturday Night Live, I was so gassed watching it. Every, you know, Saturday night, my mom would go to bed. We'd be up with the Chips Ahoy, me and my brothers, and we're hanging out. And part of why we were so psyched was to see, you know, who was going to be on. We didn't get TV Guide. We kind of would wait to see who was. We knew who was hosting, or, you know, that would almost ruin it. Like the best nights when we didn't know who was hosting, we didn't know what band was going to be on, and you're like, it's Radiohead. We're jumping around. What? Oh, we're losing our minds. So Saturday Night Live has always been like a cornerstone in my life. That it was a place that provided comedy, which I really am a fan of comedy. I'm a fan of movies, just like Claudio, just like Travis and Zach, where that and music combined. And I've got to get the chance to play on Saturday Night Live before this is all said and done. I really hope to anyway. I know they did a thing like last year where they said, hey, who should be on for the last month of the schedule? And I know they got a shitload of Coheed tweets, but, you know, our band just like, you know, like Rolling Stone won't cover our band. Like, there's just weird things. I feel like some people just don't like our band, and, you know, I'm fine with that in a way. I really am. If anything, I kind of wear that as like a badge of honor. But there are certain magazines that I grew up reading that I have like, I don't want to say like all this respect for, like they're the end all be all, but like it was something I was a fan of as a kid. And when you find out that they're not into covering your band, even after all these years, and it can kind of sting a little bit. But you know, the fight continues. The fight for Coheed and Cambria continues. And Saturday Night Live, we're coming for you. no, I hope I get the chance one day, because that would be, you'll see me if we ever do it. I'll just be a shit-eating grin on my face and just loving it.
I'll be
I
watching.
think it'd be so cool.
Excellent. Josh, mate, that's all I got. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh,
Good luck
sure.
with the show
Thank you.
tonight and the tour.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Right.